So tonight, I'm going to get real with anyone who's watching. The topic is what you do with what happens, and how you should be like Iron Man from Marvel Comics, from the movies. So if you have not seen Iron Man, the movie, spoiler alert, you should go watch that movie now. Come back. And then continue listening to this. Okay, you back? All right, here it is. So in the movie, Tony Stark is this genius, okay? And he makes these weapons and he sells them for a lot of money. And during one of the demonstrations of his newest weapons, these terrorists basically do their own demonstrating of their weapons. And it just so happens that they stole one of Tony Stark's weapons to do that demonstrating. Tony is caught in a blast, and he's now faced with a choice. So, the shrapnel is in his blood, and is gravitating towards his heart. He's going to die if he doesn't do something. Now, the guys went to, they basically, the terrorists came and their plan was to capture him so that he could make weapons for them, more enhanced weapons. And they leave him with another guy to help him make the weapons. And the other guy tells Tony, like, you're going to die soon, and this, that, and the other thing, whatever. And the guy hooks up, like, this battery to Tony to keep him alive. It acts as a magnet to keep the shrapnel away from his heart so it doesn't shred it and doesn't clog it and then kill him. So Tony, he has this condition now. And the topic of today is, what do you do with what you're given? See, I don't want to go PC. There's so much junk out there in the media. And hardly anybody watches any of these videos right now, so it doesn't matter. It's not like I'm going to get flagged for anything, because I'm not even on the radar of YouTube, really. I don't think. And there are spells to make that go better anyway, once I am on the radar. But I digress. So, Tony's forced to try to make weapons for these guys. And he winds up having the guy make something that he can put in his chest. He basically augments whatever the other scientist guy that was helping him, keeping him alive. He sets it up so that he can not only live, but this improves him. This makes him better. Not just physically. Okay. It increases his supposed lifespan, and it keeps the shrapnel out of his heart. It makes him better physically, but it forces him to reassess why he's doing what he's doing. And ultimately, he uses this to become Iron Man, to escape. He makes his first makeshift suit of the Iron Man suit, and he uses that to fight his way out of there and escape. Now, I'm going to talk real shop with you all right now. For a while, growing up, because of different things that happened and because the hand I was dealt with, I wanted a pity party. No, I didn't say it outwardly, but I would tell people about how bad things were, and they would ask, and I'd want their sympathy. Because I was playing the victim card, and I thought I was the victim, you know. And I was taught by the people I grew up with, and by the religion that I grew up in, that you have no choice, that you have a certain lot in life, and that's all you can do, and just hope and pray that things will change. Oh, screw that. When I started getting into magic and I realized I could actually will things to change by my own power, that changed everything. But even if you're not into being a magician, like you can choose to make the best with what was given to you in your birth. Now, to give you a little more background to what was given to me, okay, as I was born. I was born with an extra set of small fingers on each hand. So, all you Princess Bride lovers and people who watched that movie, I was a six-fingered swordsman. Double six-fingered, not just on my one hand, on both. To this day, they tied off, they basically, at the time, they tied that off, and there's nerve endings on the end. Like if you hit your funny bone, your elbow, and it hurts really bad. If I hit that part of my pinky, because it came out of my pinkies from both hands, so if I hit that part, it hurts like a mother, because the nerve endings are still there from that extra finger, where it was growing. Weren't fully formed, but they were starting. Okay. I have tumors that have grown with me, so-called benign, but they're not so benign because the places that they're at, and I know that they, I've suffered health-wise because of them, just off the bat. I was also born with scoliosis, which means I had a crooked spine. Not so crooked that I couldn't, move or walk very well, but where it added more pain, and it put extra pressure, and it has done so throughout my life. Makes it easier for me to get injured or not make much progress, let's say in the gym, if I try to do, let's say, back squats. I had to be careful with a lot of stuff. I was also born with asthma. I had asthma. Loki, one of my spirit guardians, calls me the miracle baby. Because you see, even with all this that happened to me as I came out, he believes I was cursed, and that my family was cursed. I had a sister who didn't last very long. She was to be my older by 3 years, if she was still alive today. She didn't last very long at all. Okay. I grew up without a father. I don't know who my father is to this day. I may never know. Unless I look into the Akashic records, if I'm brave enough later. My mother has never picked stable relationships. Okay? To this day, she's never had a stable one. Never stable long term. Myself the same. She has not had any other children besides me. I have no children. My aunt and uncle cannot have children. They have tried. They have done operations. She had cysts on her ovaries, and my uncle did operations. They cannot have children. The prospect of me having children anytime soon is not very forthcoming. I don't have a significant other, and with the things that have happened, at least right now, I do not want one. So when Loki told me, like, yep, you're the miracle baby because you weren't supposed to be here, but somehow I made it. Deformed a bit, but I made it. And this is not for some pity party. Now, with this information, I have done my darndest to straighten my spine. I have done research. I have gone to the chiropractor. I took up Qigong and different breathing practices to cancel out my asthma. Okay. I have done research on other things, other herbs, to help with my lungs, to help prepare them. Oh, and my eyes, too. I have astigmatism in my eyes, and I cannot see very far at all. I haven't been able to do so since I was 12 years old, about. My gum health and teeth health have never been great either. And to add to the fact of that, I've had an accident when I was young, where I flipped over the handlebars of a bike, someone pushing me, and my tooth went through my lower lip. And when the new ones came in, they came in crooked. We didn't have money for braces growing up, and then by the time I could possibly have them, they basically said that it wouldn't go back. And because the teeth are crooked, it's much harder to keep them clean and to keep tartar out and to keep them nice looking and pearly white. Now, these are just some examples of certain things, bodily wise, that with me that, are what they are. But I've chosen to make myself as strong and as fit as possible. I didn't just lay down and accept the scoliosis and say, well, I'm not going to bother working out and whatnot. You as a magician or as an evolving human being, whoever you are, whatever you identify as, if you really want to evolve, if you really want to get better, no matter where you start at, you can. But you have to make the choice to. Sometimes you got to fake it till you make it. I work with guys 20 years my junior, and they complain more about their aches and pains than I do now. Even though my back still hurts from time to time, and other things. But I keep going, and I stay focused on my goals. And it's better, it's easier to, it's easier to just play the blame game and give up. It's harder to say, you know what, the ball's in my court now. What am I going to do with it? So I encourage you to take that ball you got and run with it. You can look up stories of many people, some more famous than others, who they were given certain challenges from their birth or from their station in life, and they didn't use it as an excuse. They didn't point fingers at other people. Other certain, select groups. They didn't blame them for everything wrong in their lives. They said, okay, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm working with. What am I going to do about it? Am I going to complain? And am I going to accept defeat? And say, woe is me. Everyone feels sorry for me. You just don't understand. I'm different. And I get it. Before I realized I had a choice, I did the same thing. But there's a guy, he's like a preacher guy, right? He was born with like no arms and no legs, okay? I seen this guy. Now again, I'm not a Christian, but this is about confidence in yourself and about not giving up, right? And about living your best life. This guy has no arms and no legs. And he has a wife and kids. He has a wife and kids. Like, what is your excuse? Really? He has no arms and no legs. He has a torso, he has a head, and obviously he has his privates. That's what he's got. He's got a weird looking stub like on his leg. And he used that to like kick the ball he was showing like when he was talking. It's insane to watch. Like, so what are you going to do? What are you going to do with what you got, you know? Now, people like to talk about privilege, right? If you're not living in a war-torn country, you got enough privilege. Okay? If you're not dodging bombs, as a kid, you're pretty privileged. You know? Yeah, there's some bad neighborhoods in there. Yeah, oh, get out of the neighborhood if you can. Get out of it. Don't use it as an excuse. Get out of it. There's other people who have done the same. Don't say you can't do it. Jesus say you can't do it. Oh, but there's fear in it, because you might have friends there. You're going to lose those friends. Because some friends, they're going to want you there. They're going to want you there with them. Unfortunately, it's just how it is. They have their own comfort zone. You have yours. But you got to make sacrifices of time, energy, whatever it is. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on it. I can say, woe is me. I got all my limbs. Yeah, I got tumors. I got malformations here and there, whatnot. But I'm even learning how to get rid of those by connecting to the superconscious. I've already got rid of some. It's just the beginning. It's just the beginning. I look at it as a great blessing. It helped get me to where I'm at here. Who knows, if I came out perfectly fine, let's say, I may never have found this path of magic and what it leads to, what it has led to. So I'm thankful. I don't have to be stuck with a lot of these debilitating things. or possibly debilitating things, but I'm appreciative of the journey. It's like those stories of the heroes of old, they go through these trials and tribulations, or any good story, the up and coming protagonist. He comes from lowly background and slowly raises up his power or his status or his station. And it's a beautiful story when it's finally at its crescendo and the climax and by the time of the end of it. If I got to start low, I want a story like that. Not, oh, and he starts low and he stays low and lives a miserable existence. Screw that. Uh-uh. I'm being Tony Stark. I'm being Iron Man. If I got a choice, and I do, you bet your ass I'm going to be Iron Man. I'm going to make myself the best I can be. The best I can be. Any way I can do it legally. Magical empowerments, all sorts of things. I've already done some, and I've seen them work, and they are working, and this is just the beginning. I read a quote somewhere. It basically says that it's not the strongest who survives. It's not the fastest. It's not even the smartest. It's the one that can adapt. Adapt to the change. If you can adapt, then you'll survive. You won't just survive, you'll thrive. There's a lot of people, they just exist, right? Amoebas exist, but I wouldn't say they're thriving. They're not living their best life. They're just existing. I have not transplanted my consciousness into amoebas at this point. Once I'm able to do that, then I can give you more info on that. But the way I see it is they're existing. They have main functions, and they fulfill those functions, and that's it. But I don't want to exist as a zombie in a vacuum. I want to expand and become better despite however I started. I will not finish the same way. I'd rather grow in strength and power like the vampires of the myth of old, or the Asgardians in the Norse comics, from the Marvel comics. The older they get, the tougher and stronger, more powerful they become. That's how I want to be. There's monks in their 90s, right? Over in Tibet, and they're climbing mountains. 90 something, or 80 something, or 70 something. And they're not just climbing mountains, they have like basically like a basin, or like a big bucket full of apples and stuff on their back. So they have extra weight. And then you got people here by me and walkers by the time they're 50, 60. Like they're done. Because they eat like crap, and they believe like crap, and they get crap, and they think they're crap. And it's BS. You don't have to be like that. You don't. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. Do a divination on it if you can. See if I'm, making it up. If there's no choice in the matter. They want you to think. It's BS. They have the legends of old about the Qigong masters, right? These supposed Taoist immortals. They live physically for hundreds of years. They have one that's more documented. His name is like Li Qing Yun. And because he's so old and they have documents of him because he's lived with people, because most of the other ones, they lived in the woods, so it was hard to, and they would come by every once in a while, and so the other generations would see that same person, and so they'd be like, well, that's the same person, and my grandmother saw them, and they look the exact same, and there's stories about him being around here for 300 so years. But anyway, there's the one literally from Ling Ching Yun. He was like a giant. He was super tall, and he was a Chinese alchemist. Really, really interesting history. You look him up. I'll have to put in the description his name. And they have him clocked at least 197 to possibly 256 years old before he died. And he is a lesser immortal from the lineages in China. And he was teaching the Emperor's palace guards Bagua Zhang. So, yeah, 60, 70 people in walkers, ridiculous. That's BS. Don't have to be. Don't have to be. If you build up the chi in the body and you let it build up, it's going to act like another battery for you. And you can get healthier over time instead of relinquishing that health. Instead of this BS belief that it's only inevitable that you have to decline in your health. That's BS. There's people that are like 90, 80, 70. They work out. They look great. Their mind's super sharp. Don't believe the BS. Don't give up on your dreams. Don't see your current situation. If you don't like it, don't see it as the end all be all. Believe in yourself. Look at other people that have done it. Know that it's true. Whether you do magic or not. That's all for tonight.